Disclaimer.
History is not safe for work, and neither is HistoricHole.
This podcast is uncensored and contains explicit language.
Welcome to HistoricHole. My name is David, and as always, I am joined by Jason and Michael.
Hello.
Hello, and we here at HistoricHole, we mind our P's and Q's, and sometimes we take a funny look at history. Sometimes people, sometimes events, sometimes books. You can look it up, or just listen to us. Today, part 2 of a person?
Yes. Neil Armstrong. We will be continuing his life story today.
Also known as Nah.
Yeah. And so where we
You're
left,
allowed to laugh, Dave.
where we left Neil was on the moon.
Hello? Can you please continue your episode?
To catch everyone up,
Yeah.
he grew up and then went to the moon.
Yes, he loves.
He was from Ohio, and when you're born there, you're like, I gotta get out of here. And you look up at the sky.
He's from Wapakoneta.
Yeah, Wapakoneta, Ohio. And he always had a fascination with flying from the age of 2 all the way to present day while on the moon.
Still likes flying. It's not like you got there and be like,
I don't want to do this
I
anymore.
want to change the channel.
Which is fortunate.
Yeah, for him
That
and
he
his
was
crew.
still interested.
Yeah, for him and his crewmates.
Certainly.
You can't just quit. Yeah, like some jobs you can quit in the middle of the shift. Like if you're a pilot, probably not
Put
good.
the hammer down.
So the
Space hammer.
Yes.
Can't really do that.
Yeah, it's true.
No, that it'll just float.
Yeah, just don't get back on the
You
thing.
actually can't do that. It's physically impossible.
So
I don't know. I'm not a physicist.
the LM, the lunar module, codenamed Eagle, has nested on the moon, and
Eagle has landed.
yes, the Eagle has landed. But they chill out, make sure the ship is still operable, and then power it down, and then they sort of just hang out for a day
let's
or a
make
couple
sure-
hours.
let's make sure
Take a
this
nap,
comes back on.
Hang out for a day.
Yeah, take a nap.
It's not a post-coital nap, as we've discussed throughout HistoricHole, but it's a post we just landed on the celestial body nap.
Let's call it a space nap.
Yeah, space nap.
You hit the space blanket.
Where Buzz Aldrin actually, before they exited the lunar module, being
A fight happened.
adamant Catholic, had himself a little.
He starts lighting candles. No, Buzz! Everything explodes.
Had some crackers and a little vial of wine, so he had communion on the moon.
That was his excuse. He takes a shot. We're probably about to die. Get on the moon. All of a sudden, a bunch of animals start coming out. We've been waiting.
The plot to Apollo 18.
Okay,
It wasn't a
so
plot. It was history.
It was the Lost Mission.
They recorded it
July 21st,
on Netflix.
July 21st, 1969. Neil gives the call to Columbia with Michael Collins on it, saying he's going to exit the lunar module. And they do. They suit up and get out of the thing.
That's
And
what they
Michael
do.
Collins is just chilling up there, just
Yeah,
like,
waiting for days. I've been waiting for the call.
I just get to float around the moon.
Yeah, that's all I get to do.
Yeah, there's a few
This
of
is
those
my
guys.
job.
Like, God damn it. You're welcome, Neil.
Oh, actually, and I forgot to bring this up in the first episode when we were talking about the crew, but they actually offered him Jim Lovell to replace Buzz Aldrin. But he's like, no, it would be disrespectful to Jim Lovell because Buzz Aldrin's position was basically the lowest ranked in the squad.
Yeah.
And he didn't want to do that to Jim. He thought he deserved his own command.
And they gave it to him.
Yes.
As we established in another episode.
Yeah. And that'll actually come up in a second. But anywho, they are exiting the lunar module. And that's when, Neil gives his famous line. This is a small step.
There's aliens here. Don't trust the government. Don't do any. I mean,
This is a small step for man, giant leap for mankind.
small step for man,
What was he supposed to say?
Oh, man.
Oh, man. But he.
To get into that.
Some people think
people have
said it.
People have built careers out of trying to figure out what this man has said.
God forbid this recording that came from the moon is not completely decipherable. It's pretty good.
There's this Australian computer guy who developed
It's a kangaroo who's good at math.
who developed something to analyze the code or the transmission to see if he actually said A. And he's like, you just can't tell because of the technology of the time.
Yeah. So much fucking
It's a lot of
effort has
noise.
been put into so much. That was a waste of time.
Linguists actually attributed it to his Ohioan accent that he just merged.
Ohioan? Is that?
Yeah, that one.
I don't know. I really don't. I'm stupid.
Ohioan, yeah.
Cleveland, this is for you. That's what he said when he landed on the moon. Right. And then he dunked.
That he pushed, that he combined the A and four, so it's for a man.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Well,
Potentially.
It's like, God forbid, you're like literally like, a small step for me. Like, this is the shit they told me to say. You're like literally bouncing
And he never
around
talked about it. He
on
was
the
just
moon.
like,
Well, later in the 70s, he's like, yeah, maybe I didn't say it, but I would think history would forgive me, after what I've done.
just like, but you all know what I meant.
But see, like, it's
Exactly.
so weird that, like, yeah, everyone's like, if that A was there, completely recontextualizes what he was trying to say. And I'm like, okay, it's just, lay it on the fucking moon. He's like, I'm here. We're trying to say something kind of profound. Sorry if I fucked it up a little bit as I'm staring at you all living 350 million miles away.
This is kind of like, the old saying, actions speak louder than words.
Yes.
I think a good example. And then you have prime
he had
example
words
of
and
people
actions.
focusing on the words way too much and making entire careers out of the damn words. Do the words ultimately matter, or how about the science? Well, I think that's the thing that really matters, right? The accomplishments.
And there's other recordings that people probably should be putting their like efforts into. Like, what did he really say? It's like he landed on the moon. It's like it's not like, oh, you know what he really said? Oh my God, they're here. Something like that. Apollo 18.
probably going to cancel Neil Armstrong at some point. They're going to be like,
He's already dead.
Here's
They're
the
gonna-
unedited version, and there's a bunch of racial slurs attached to it.
If we cancel Neil Armstrong and they dig up his body, and hopefully the world rights itself, we need to bury him on the moon. Send that skeleton up there.
They had the cleaned up version on TV.
So
Without all the lasers.
So the whole thing was being televised also. 530 million people watched the thing live.
Oh yeah, of course.
About 20%.
Well, no shit. Everyone's like,
Where
what's on
were
TV
you?
today? There's 60 minutes, and then there's a guy landing on the moon.
About
of course,
20% of the world
Wizard of
population
Oz.
at the time. Yeah.
20% of the world were watching.
And it was probably like the Super Bowl kind of numbers where like there was actually more people watching. They're like, well, this is how many televisions were actually tuned
right.
in. There was a bunch of people there with their moon parties.
Yeah.
They probably had like festive dips.
Yeah, like all the astronauts' wives, were probably watching it together.
Please don't die, please.
Because near the launch pad,
all three of them. Big numbers there.
well, and their families.
Okay, all right.
And 19 minutes later, Buzz Aldrin comes out, and now there are two people on the moon.
He's like, so no one's attacked you yet, right?
And so, being the first people on the moon, their first job was to figure out what it was like to be on the moon.
Yeah, First Man was a bad movie. It should have been First People.
And
First men.
what NASA had put forth as a suggestion to move about was to bunny, hop like a kangaroo.
Yeah.
Both feet at one time. So they were
comes
doing
back
that for a little bit, but just falling over, and then they developed the
dance.
the moonwalk, yeah, the little dance there, and
Just
they
bounce from like side to side. It's like, it's okay to get weird.
We're on the moon,
just
bro.
feel it, just feel it, just feel it out, man.
It's all feeling up here on the moon.
So while out there, they placed the plaque. They placed some.
They put a few spears like through some aliens.
They did all the superficial stuff where it was just
they-
like, let's put a flag down the plaque and like
made their name.
I
like,
guess
in
they
the
didn't do the
dust.
flag yet, but
Well, they also put some in memoriam shit for the three guys who died in Apollo
of course,
1, and also
course.
for Yuri, the the cosmonaut.
Yuri, the cosmonaut.
Yeah. Gagarin or something like
Yeah,
that.
Yuri Gagarin, the first man in space.
Yeah, that guy.
Yuri,
who
the
fuck is
cosmonaut.
he? Yeah, Yuri.
Yeah, I think we're gonna call him Yuri the cosmonaut from now on. Just make a shirt.
we
with his
have
face.
him in the closet.
Yuri the cosmonaut.
Yuri the cosmonaut. And then they did the flag.
That wouldn't be a very good shirt.
No, what?
Now the whole thing about the flag, everyone's like, "Oh, it's waving, so it's fake." Well, it's because there was a rod that was supposed to extend horizontally to make it clear, but the rod didn't extend fully. Rod.
Yeah, I'm like, are you saying Rod or Rock? Or
Rod.
Rock or Rod? Rock Stewart. He's saying the soundtrack.
Stone Phillips. All right.
The rod did not extend fully, so the flag appears ruffled as if in a breeze. It's not fake. Did not.
And isn't there like 1% atmosphere? Like things can move a little bit, right?
Mythbusters.
Yeah, talk to
Barely
them.
move. Like, cause the footprints apparently are still there.
Just
According
watch
to
the
Apollo
Mythbusters.
18.
Just watch the Mythbusters episode. They basically prove all of the claims. They're like flags,
Stanley Kubrick made
shadows. And the way, look at the dust. Like, it wouldn't, like, I love how people are just.
Yeah, they have been on the moon. Like, this is not what would
wouldn't
happen.
do
I'm like,
that.
you're on Earth. See, if someone landed on the moon nowadays, we'd probably be more like, no, that didn't happen. Because
Now it's just
no
probably.
one
Man,
believes
if we did
anything.
it now, I mean, we would
Yeah.
have HD cameras. Like,
Yeah.
everything would look so much better.
They spent about 2.5 hours fucking around on the moon.
Yeah,
Neil Armstrong went as far as 65 yards away from the lunar module towards
football.
the east crater.
Armstrong put up 65 yards on the moon.
Yeah, it's like that's what I would do. Is like if I was trying to get in the NFL, I would just go to the moon and be like, here, look how far I can throw the football.
Okay. Yeah. All right, come on, let's go.
Now
All right,
do on
and-
the moon.
So after that, they get back in the lunar module and they're getting ready for takeoff, but realize that the bulky spacesuits have destroyed the ignition switch for the
What has happened? So their suits that they're wearing, they get back into the spaceship and apparently won't take off.
well, the suits knocked a switch.
So they're just like, bink, bump, bink, like, yo, we didn't.
Yeah, they broke something.
You were supposed to take them off before you come back in. We only calculated you putting them on.
We take them off before you come in. You're supposed to freeze in the cold of space. What? Makes no
Yeah,
sense.
it's like we didn't do this. We should have made all these switches that are just like easy to hit when there's no gravity. Oh shit!
The ignition switch was for the ascent engine to get them back to
launch,
Columbia.
blast them off.
So what they had to
Start digging a hole into the moon. It's the wrong one.
So what they had to do was take a part of a pen and poke it into the hole where the switch was to ignite the circuit breaker to regain control.
It's like back in the day
To
when you had to
begin
get
launch.
like a screwdriver and you like hit it like in the ignition switch. It's like we're going back to Earth. We got this.
That's basically
Yeah,
what
that's basically what happened.
You're
That's
just
the way shit
describing
is.
what
It's
they
mechanics,
You're
yeah.
like
It's
it's like when no, it is exactly
That's exactly what
Except it
happened.
was a pen and they were on the moon. I'm simply saying.
And
Because
they
we've all had to do the screwdriver thing, right?
returned to Columbia. They came back together, and then they came back home. Returned 3 days later.
Okay, nothing happened.
Landed.
Nothing interesting happened on the way.
Yeah.
I'm sure they had a lot of lively conversations. So Collins was like, "So what was it like on the moon?" And Neil, of
Exactly,
course,
yeah.
is silent, doesn't say anything.
Then they come and like the whole time Colin's up there, but like, let's see God get you back off the fucking moon. Like he's thinking to himself, like, I saw them land on the moon, but I'm the only one who made it back. So praise me. Rest in peace, Neil. You'll find him. It's a good thing that never actually did happen. We're lucky that all of our astronauts died on the Earth. Instead of on the moon where there's just like the you go up there. It's like Mount Everest. You go up there, but like here's the guy. There's Neil Armstrong. You've heard of
Corpses
him.
everywhere.
I'm kind of cynical about that. I think there's a lot of scientists, not a lot. Maybe we are overestimating. No, they are all like this. That are probably like, man, imagine the science, the data we could have collected from somebody dying in
on
outer
the moon,
space. And be like,
exactly.
oh man, that's interesting. No one's ever done that. Like, what would happen? That would answer some questions. Like, I'm sure there are a bunch of them that would have been like, damn.
And you know what? I bet you those guys, they were such consummate professionals, as we like to talk about. Like, they would have been given data as everything was burning apart, and they're like, this is happening, this is happening. And they're like, this is what we heard, so we think this was happening. All the space dust are flying through everything, you know. It's like, didn't they say something about, like, they see God? I'm like, no, we didn't hear that.
The land back, splashdown, one of the 7 oceans.
They surf out.
Somewhere in the world, you know, it's non-specific location.
Rescued by the U.S. government, and
hopefully. They're captured by the Chinese.
No, just these random, like, Indian people. Just like, oh, we were fishing. Excuse me, these white suited guys walk out.
well,
We came from the moon. It's like, we don't even have television.
Dude, outer space. It's like we came from there.
Yeah, it's like, that's where we were. It's like, could someone give us a phone? Let's start staring at each other and giving them fish, you know? We don't need food. We need a phone. That's the true story. Historical. It wasn't an aircraft carrier that came all epically and they just landed like, woo, like a bunch of jets fly over, you know, like, yeah. No, we had to find them.
Well, that might
What do you think India
be why there was an 18-day quarantine, which was supposedly
took
to
18
make sure,
days to find them.
to make sure they didn't have catch any diseases while they were out there. But really, they were just trying to find them.
You don't want Moon 19.
Space IV. Stupid.
Somebody sent us to the moon on our one-way trip with no
Stupid.
oxygen.
That's bad.
So after the astronauts returned safely home, they and their wives went on a worldwide tour where they hit 23 countries in 45 days. Beginning
Probably
with
like, we're tired of flying, dude.
beginning with
They
a
died in a plane crash.
Did they fly the plane? That'd be sweet. If they like, hey, you know, dude,
They just flew themselves.
It's like when the
places.
Buccaneers just won the Super Bowl. They're like, no. Like Rob Gronkowski's like, no, dude, he puts the hat on. Like, I got a pilot's license, man. You know.
Or like Neil, yeah, he's just like, why would I let somebody else fly me? I don't
Yeah.
trust anyone else to
Exactly.
fly me
Man, I just flew to
anywhere.
the fucking.
I just
moon.
flew to the moon.
You
And he
hit
just-
some turbulence. He like hits open the door because back then you could do that in the cockpit. You know, like, excuse me, pilot.
And he walks in and they're like, by God, it's Neil Armstrong. He's like, can I fly this plane? They're like, sure. And just hands over the plane to him right then and
The
there.
guy even goes like, whoa, before he picks it up.
Then
He's like going back.
he autographs the steering wheel for the plane. Neil was here.
Oh, yeah.
He's just flying with
Everything.
his dick, smoking a cigar with both hands.
He banged all the stewardesses.
I just landed on the moon.
The tour began August 13th with the ticker tape parade in New York, and then they went to Chicago right after, and then they went to L.A., where they had dinner with members of Congress, governors, Chief
We would
Justice.
all like to get like
some
we want
glad
credit
handing.
for landing on the moon.
Nixon.
Some glad handing, some rubbing shoulders
Exactly.
with the elites.
Yeah, I might have argued against like funding NASA, but you know what? Hey,
Yeah.
you did it.
But you know what? Hey,
Nixon was there. Yeah.
Roxanne. That's not how he said it.
They were awarded the Presidential Medal of Freedom.
As they should have. It's the least they could have done. They should have given him a Super Bowl trophy.
And then they went over to Europe. They actually visited the USSR.
Back in the USSR.
And talked with their space department. But then they came back.
And talked.
Neil.
Hey, guess what? We landed on the moon, bitches. Yeah, they talked.
Yeah, they
Guess
talked.
what you were trying to do? Oh, your cosmonauts are dying. Cosmos. We're Astro.
Are you guys still eating cold soup?
How's Chernobyl going? Oh, wait, you don't even know about that.
So he was Deputy Associate Administrator for Aeronautics for the Office of Advanced Research and Technology. And he held that position.
AK, first man to land on the moon.
And he held that position for a year, and then he resigned from NASA in 1971. Decided, I went to the moon. I don't think I'm going to do anything better than that. So I'm going to quit.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm going to quit while I'm ahead.
You know
I
what?
think I peaked.
You know what?
You know what? I'd say, they say shoot for the moon. And I think
And he did.
And Neil Armstrong did.
He
and
probably asked them, he's like, can we land on Mars? They're like, not till you're dead. And you're like, well,
He actually
I'm going
wrote
to
a book.
retire.
He wrote a book about that, and I'll get to it later. But so
How much later?
he became a professor.
in part 3.
Yeah, the book series of Neil Armstrong.
He became a professor of Cincinnati
He became a film professor. He was
for
what he truly
aerospace
always loved.
aerospace engineering. He was a good teacher, his students said. He developed 2 graduate level classes,
That's what they said.
aircraft design and experimental flight mechanics.
Neil's trying to like teach like in a sober way and like talk to the students,
sober
but the
way.
kids are all like, you know, starry-eyed and like starstruck.
Just like flash.
Yeah, he refused to talk about it.
Well, that's what I'm saying. And they're all just like, kids raising their hands, just like, so what was the moon like? And he's just like, get the fuck out. And he just like throws like a book, you know, at him. Like,
He throws the moon
It's
at
like a Whiplash. Like he goes all like J.K. Simmons on
Not
him.
quite my question. I don't think he actually landed on the moon. He just punches the kid in the face.
It's like the reason he didn't talk about it was because it was fake.
But in 1970, though, he worked with NASA again on a commission to find out what happened with Apollo 13.
Of course he did.
After there was an
Well,
explosion.
he came in like while the shit. Yeah, like while it was going
So
on.
yeah,
They're like,
he
"We're
was
on it."
one of the investigators.
There's like been like 4 people that have been in space and you know, or like gone towards the
On
moon.
the moon.
You get a few of them. They're like,
and he
so what happened when everything didn't explode?
well, he deduced that there was a 28-volt thermostat switch on an oxygen tank, and it was supposed to be replaced with a 65-volt version.
God
that's
damn
all.
it, Barry.
That's all it was. And the government wanted to spend $40 million to just redo the entire tank. When he put forth the idea, was just change the thermostat switch. Just do that.
No,
save money. But
It's-
nope, they decided to redo the entire
Because that's
oxygen
the
tank.
government for you.
That's the way, you know, as they say
That's
in
the
Independence Day, it's like,
government.
you really think they paid $60 million for a toothbrush, do you?
That's the government.
So
Like the pen fixing the thing, the rent, like as we've established today, all you need is a few objects around you and you can fix anything. A spacecraft, a car, your life.
See, and that's why we're really not that far removed from primates. Like, you know, when you think about it, we're just taking sticks and poking at things and flipping switches. And hey, you know, it doesn't take that much.
Luckily, there's a few people that are like slightly smarter than the rest of us.
They know how to poke those sticks in just
Yeah,
the
they know
right
where to poke
ways
the stick.
and flip the right switches at just the right times.
oh dear God. So when he wasn't teaching, he was on his farm, which was on the outskirts of Cincinnati. He moved there because he didn't want anyone to bother him.
And no one goes to Cincinnati. Desolate wasteland.
Armstrong Manor.
He's like the only place on Earth that reminds me of the moon. Cincinnati.
He just didn't want to be bothered. And actually, John Glenn came out and was like, he was always, kept to himself. So
From space. Like, how do you feel
he
here?
hasn't changed. He just doesn't want to be bothered. Like that's just him.
You've changed, Neil. Neil, you've changed. That'd be funny if all the media were saying that. It's just like, Neil Armstrong's changed.
It's like one of those like pictures that like his eyes are like half closed, like Neil's like drunk, like coming.
Weekly World News.
He just landed on the moon, intoxicated. Tell your children.
Neil Armstrong, father of Bat Boy. The media were just brutal to Neil Armstrong, man.
So on the farm, he had his wife Janet and 3 kids.
Damn it.
But even though he was a teacher, he was teaching also. He also had business dealings. He was promoting American companies. He became a member of the
What a
Cincinnati
fascist.
Yeah, I know. What
Gas
the
and
hell?
Electric Company. He was on their board.
Stupid.
He started working with United Airlines. In 1979, he started doing commercials for Chrysler.
Christ. Lord.
Just, all around American hero.
He was
He
an
enjoyed-
American man.
He was Neil Armstrong.
A spoken word Tom Petty.
In 1980, he left the college, though, because it became state-owned, and he didn't like all the bureaucracy that was getting involved.
Of course he didn't.
Yeah, when you're in
He's
space,
Neil
there's no
Armstrong.
bureaucracy. It's just you and
You and the dead.
in space.
Silence.
And the
They're
Borg.
cold.
So he quit and decided to.
He flew to the moon. And he made his
Decided to
retirement
die.
home.
Yeah.
And then he passed away on the moon.
No, he actually had to help in 1986. Ronald Reagan asked him to help with the Edgar Commission.
You make whatever I'm saying sound
Challenger.
a lot better, Neil.
To go over what happened with Challenger. And he's
He
the
never
one.
even flew that shit, though.
Well, he was
He's
still.
an engineer. And
That's
he's
true,
in
yeah, he
space.
was just
What are you
like
talking
from-
about? He's Neil Armstrong.
That's true.
God damn it.
That's true. It is.
If Neil Armstrong's available, you get Neil Armstrong.
That's true.
During the commission, him and his former NASA buddies got together and they wrote a book called
Let's write a book.
Pioneering the Space Frontier, the report on the National Commission on Space, which recommended lunar bases by 2006 and people going to Mars by 2015.
Well,
So we let
at
him
least
down.
we had a movie called The Martian starring Matt Damon come out in 2015, where he sciences the shit out of everything.
But during the early 80s, there was a rumor going around that Neil Armstrong had converted to Islam because there was a song called The Resonant Sound of the Call to Prayer on the Moon, which was basically about how Neil Armstrong, while on the moon, heard the call to prayer from Earth and converted to Islam. But it was only because there was a miscommunication in where he lived, because he lived in Lebanon, Ohio, not in the Middle East. Lebanon.
Yeah, so people are stupid.
Yes. And it got bad to the fact where the State Department in 1983 had to contact the countries in the Middle East and say, that's not true.
Yeah, stop threatening to kill Neil Armstrong.
He is a deist.
Or trying to tell him to kill us because he's a Muslim.
So
The greatest bomb of all time, the moon.
so Neil Armstrong, owns a farm, but he has all these business dealings, so he's out and about a lot, leaving Janet at home,
like the
running the
Godfather.
farm with his kids. So by 1990, they separate because they've grown apart because they're just not seeing each other that much.
Yeah, once you've been on the moon, it's hard to hear some bullshit from anybody, probably. I thought you were going to clean up the living room yesterday, and he just stares up at the moon.
I've seen God.
I am God. By the way, I'm Muslim.
It was all seen Allah. He has blessed me. Jesus.
So he's sort of bummed out and living the single life. Goes to a golf tournament in 1992 where he meets a woman named Carol Knight, and they don't really talk that much. But 2 weeks later, he gives her a ring. Is like, "Hey, what's up?" And she's like, "Nothing." Trying to chop down
You're
a cherry
already
tree.
legally married to me.
Trying to chop.
Turns out on the moon, if you sign documents, there's no sort of law or jurisdiction.
She was trying to chop down a cherry tree. And he's like, "I own a farm, so I know how to do that," and got over to her place in 30 minutes.
Wait, so, okay, I thought you said he gave her a ring.
No.
He
I
gave
thought
her
that's
a
what you said,
ring?
too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh.
a phone. He called her.
Damn, Jason actually lives in the
2 weeks. Yeah, it was like 2 weeks later.
Day.
He gave
Who gives
her
a ring?
I was like, what? Like, he was already trying to marry this woman. Like,
text
this
each
is
other in these
psycho
days.
behavior right now. I was
No.
about to talk about it, like getting
No,
this-
he waited.
I was about to say, I was like, damn.
He
What can you do when the moon's behind you and Neil Armstrong just puts a ring on your finger and here you go. Like, you're already married to me.
That's why he was talking about documents and notarizing shit on the moon. I'm like, what?
so,
I needed
Will
to
you marry me
clarify.
on the moon? He just did it with the thrusters. He's like, I told her to put more gas.
I thought I
in
made the phone gesture.
You
But
might
no.
have, but I was not paying attention.
You know what? No.
Check the tape. Anywho, so the divorce with Janet finalized in 94, and 3 months later he married Janet. So
the
he
moon
did
fell
wait.
on her.
He did wait until he was divorced.
He
Yeah.
waited. All right.
He's not. Yeah.
Golf tournaments, man.
He waited.
That's the place to pick up chicks. Let me tell you.
Yeah, there's holes everywhere.
And then he remarried at 64 years old.
When
Now-
I'm 64.
Now,
He loved that song by the Beatles.
they're hanging out, enjoying life. But we're going to jump ahead to 2005 when he sued his barber because the barber was selling locks of his hair for $3,000. And he's like, well,
I need my money.
Do you blame the barber? Do you blame the people that are going to pay $3,000 for like, here's some hair, it's Neil's? When they're sweeping it all up and like...
Plot twist, it was all one guy.
He was
buying
old,
the hair.
Yeah, he was
and he's
old.
just like, we get a fresh one. You got the fresh Neil hair this week. He's like, dude, I can't keep doing this. He's getting suspicious. Like,
Yeah, it's like,
I
first
keep
of all,
calling
Neil-
up Neil to get more haircuts.
Neil
He's
is
like,
like-
dude, my hair's growing
bald.
thin.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, Neil's old as fuck. He doesn't have any hair.
And so the dude, like, he gets a new bag of Neil's hair. He's just, it's the good stuff.
Every time you snort it, you see the moon.
I smell God.
Well, the man couldn't. So the
One
deal.
small step for...
So the deal was either return the hair or give the money to charity, and he couldn't find the hair, so he ended up giving the money to charity.
So I was like pulling up a drawer. I was like, where is it?
I mean, how did they find out how much money he made off of this? Did they like look at his bank accounts? He could have just stuffed this money in a mattress. Like, how
How's the
really?
deal?
What did they audit? Like the hair scam he was running? How do you figure that out? Who's running the numbers on this?
They come in there. He starts like just get some scissors, starts cutting his own hair off. Like, I got it. They're like, no. The dogs come up, start fighting him. They're trained for moon hair. It's special, radiated, because there was no atmosphere. They were just in a metal tube, aluminum tube.
So August 7th, 2012, he went in for heart surgery. And he was in the hospital.
too many hearts.
Sound good.
And he was in the, he had some cardiac problems in his 70s.
Well, I would hope that he wasn't just getting some cosmetic heart surgery.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't like it the way it looks. The way it feels. Let's get
I want
some
a heart
surgery.
reduction.
Yeah, I mean, my heart's too big. I really just care too much.
So August 7th, he went in, and he was there until August 25th when he died. So he was recovering
Should have
from.
shot him into space.
So he was recovering from surgery when some nurses thought he was doing okay, so they unplugged some things, which sent his body into a fizz. A fit.
A fizz.
A fizz.
A fizz bit.
Yeah. And then they rushed him into ER, but they waited for a little bit for catheterization. And then he ended up dying. So
So it sounds like they fucked up.
Sounds like
and
a
they
lot of people
killed
fucked
an
up.
American hero.
It's like, dude, this guy landed on the moon? Some lady just steps on a bunch of plugs. Like,
That's the medical industry for you, folks.
Yep.
his kids.
Remember when you paid all that money?
They like, it doesn't matter who you are. You can be the fucking first man to land on the moon, American hero Neil Armstrong, and they'll still fucking
and they'll
kill you by
unplug
accident.
your thing that keeps you alive.
pacemaker.
Whoops.
This is pacemaker.
Who unplugs shit when someone's connected to things? Like,
Who unplugs a pacemaker?
it was like,
Oh, he looks like he's doing fine.
when they try to plug something else in, like, we gotta watch Oprah.
Let's unplug the thing that's beating his heart for him. Yeah.
This thing that says don't unplug.
So his kids, decided to sue them.
As they should have.
The hospital wasn't giving in.
Send them to the moon.
The hospital wasn't giving in until then all of a sudden got settled out of court.
Of course it did, because they probably started investigating. And the hospital was like, "Oh yeah, we killed this person. We killed this person. We killed this person." Oh,
It's because the family were going to release the documents about what happened on the 50th anniversary.
exactly. It's probably all this
So they were like, oh, okay, yeah, we'll pay you $6 million then.
we can't have the truth out there.
You can't have people knowing we killed American hero Neil Armstrong. Ooh. That would be a tarnish. That would tarnish our record, I feel like.
It's like, yeah, he died. His pacemaker turned off, and also is that
It's really
the
weird.
3 bullets to his sternum into his head. They took him out. He knew too much.
It was appendicitis.
To the head.
Yes, and that is our story.
This is a sad ending.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? Most
That
of
was a
them
lot of
are,
detail.
dude.
Like, we usually don't
It's
go into
history.
all the detail. It's like, oh, he was there. They unplugged some stuff. He probably sat there thinking of the moon. He's like, I remember the silence. I remember silence. Now only silence. Sorry for unplugging your shit, sir.
All right, well, I guess we'll get to the shill stuff. Shill.
Kill Neil. Wait, what? That's weird. The older
Kill stuff. Give us 5 dead American heroes on iTunes.
Yeah, there's a lot of them.
Just kidding. Give us 5 stars. Even if we aren't worth it.
Moons.
Delude
Give us
yourselves
5
into believing
moons.
that we're good. The reason you should do that, too, is because Facebook was, like, deleting all of our shit today. But
Fuck book.
I
not that one.
appealed, and who knows what'll happen. But I talked a ton of shit to them in the appeal, and I told them ban me for life if you're seriously gonna like shut down our page over a stupid meme. So
We might be banned for life. So don't
So
look
who
for us on
cares?
Facebook.
whatever, it's not a big deal. But like if you enjoy the podcast, just that would be cool. You can email us at historichole@gmail.com with any questions if you'd like us to answer them, or send us any scams. Like
Docs.
Nigerian princes are pretty popular in that whole realm.
I want a boat.
Yeah, Jason wants a free yacht, so there's always that. That's another Mitchell and Webb reference. I've been pulling those out recently. Mitchell and Webb, they have some good
Great show.
skits.
Great show.
Great show. All right, and I guess now is the time for a statement of modernity. What's new this week, fellas? What's the drama?
We just talked
Bill
about
Burr.
it.
That's the drama
We already
this
talked about
week.
this drama.
Shut the fuck up.
Bitch, shut the fuck up is what Bill Burr's wife said to that dude.
That should be our statement over there. Bitch, shut the fuck up.
Yeah. And so this week, our statement of modernity is, bitch, shut the fuck up. Life is full of holes. Enter wisely.